Warhammer Plus, Games Workshop's infamous new streaming service, or should I say subscription service, that lets players get a variety of cool Warhammer things from just a small payment a month or a full annual service. But is it really any good? Okay, you're gonna want to stick around for this one because, oh my god, what is going on? Games Workshop, what are you doing? It's had somewhat a controversial launch, I think that's pretty much safe to say, as Games Workshop started cracking down on fan animations on YouTube and they were taking them off, saying, hey, stop making them for free. You can either make them for our streaming service or you're not making them at all. But it had a massive backlash from fans. People saying, what are you doing taking away our free content? And started to crack down on fans just trying to promote your products, literally. And they said no, they didn't care. They were like, this is our subscription service. You subscribe or else. But after all that debacle, after all that went down, did they actually make something that could be worth using? You can purchase the subscription for $4.99 a month or $49.99 a year for 12 months. That's probably about $60 a year if you kind of translate it to US dollars. It's about the same price as Disney Plus is at the moment, but remember, Warhammer Plus isn't just a streaming service, it's a subscription package. You get way more than just the streaming service with it. So, what do you actually get? Well, you get one free miniature, I say free, about 50 quid a year. If you subscribe for 12 months without cancelling, this is either a Vindicare or an Orc Mega Boss. Both miniatures are priced from Games Workshop at about £20 so far. So yeah, not quite half the subscription service price anyway, but it's not horrendous. If you really want one of those two miniatures and you were prepared to pay 50 quid and you get a few extra stuff with it, it might perhaps be starting to sway you a little bit. You also get access to the Warhammer 40k app and the Age of Sigmar app when that's launched, and you get it for the premium features where it was before I think £2 a month, about £24 a year. So you also get that packaged in with this subscription service. Additionally, you have the Warhammer Vault with all the old White Dwarf magazines and content that Games Workshop has produced over the years. It is quite cool. You sort of get unlimited digital versions of the mags if you like looking at that sort of thing. Me personally, if I'm gonna buy a White Dwarf, I want the physical thing. I want to be able to flick through it, have it on my shelf. The digital version just doesn't really seem to do it for me, and even then they don't really have a ton of the White Dwarf magazines on it at the moment, but it is kind of a decent amount of content here, and there is a bit of worth that you're going to get out of this point. And of course, you get event ticket upgrades in the future, possibly being able to upgrade to those VIP tickets if you are a Warhammer Plus member. And then the big thing, the coup de grace, the thing that is really selling this service and really what they're trying to focus on, and this is the streaming service portion of Warhammer Plus, which is hopefully where most of the value should come in, right? Well, let's take a look at this streaming service. So this is Warhammer TV. The UI, as you can see, is pretty terrible. This is the in-browser version of the service. So, you know, there is an app version, which I think is a little bit better, but it's kind of unclear so far of where everything is in Warhammer Plus. See, when you buy a Warhammer Plus subscription, it says, look, you get all these things, and then you kind of just got to go off and find them yourself. Warhammer TV is on its own site, White Dwarf Vault's on its own site, and then I'd not even found my £10 Games Workshop voucher that I'm supposed to have. Oh well. That's probably missing anyway. I mean, what can you even buy in a Games Workshop store with 10 quid? Probably a brush. But Warhammer TV itself makes it really hard to actually find what you're looking for, and it seems very half-arsed. The mobile app really is, as I mentioned, the way it was intended to be viewed, and it's a bit better, but it still doesn't feel like I'm using a premium service, something that I've actually paid for. It kind of feels like I'm, well, using popcorn time. Not that I've ever used popcorn time, as I wouldn't do that. But you have your new releases at the top. Then next down we have your animations, which, oh my, we're going to get onto a little bit because there's a lot to talk about there. Then you got your exclusive Warhammer Plus shows, which are painting masterclasses and battle reports. Yep, they're exclusive now. And finally, some learn to play tutorials, where you can learn to play Warhammer. The Citadel painting tutorials are fine, they're well produced and they look great, and I adore the set they're using. The instructions are clear and they don't rush too much, which makes it pretty easy if you're wanting to follow along. I specifically love the explanations of why each color is used and how that affects the overall model results. But something kept nagging me whilst I'm watching this tutorial on a streaming service that I've paid for. It felt like it belonged on YouTube. I mean, it looks like it, right? It's good, but I'm not sure who this tutorial is for, because it's mostly focused on new painters, showing you the basics of how to paint Warhammer and getting people into the hobby. But those people most likely won't be interested in Warhammer Plus as a service in the first place. The issue is all these painting tutorials, whilst are exclusive to Warhammer TV, you can kind of just get the same content on YouTube for free. There are so many great painting tutorials out there for any model that you're trying to work on. Channels like Midwinter Minis or Pete the Wargamer and so many more. And I'm not really sure if this painting tutorial actually adds any value to the streaming service, since you can get a just as good, if not better version elsewhere for free. But as I was scouring through the tutorials, I started to notice something. These painting tutorials look interesting, and they mentioned that they're exclusive to Warhammer Plus. So it got me thinking, does that mean the ones that aren't in the exclusive to Warhammer Plus section are elsewhere? And oh my god, they have just re-uploaded content free on their Warhammer YouTube channel to Warhammer Plus to pad out the videos. Yes, these painting tutorials here that you can see here are on their YouTube channel for free, and they've just re-uploaded them to Warhammer Plus. Say, look how much content we've got. Yeah, it is insane. Even if you want to watch the exclusive Games Workshop stuff that they've made themselves, you don't even need Warhammer Plus. They've put them on their YouTube channel for free ages ago, and they just put it on this service to make it look like there's more stuff. Okay, there are some exclusive painting tutorials, but so far as I found, there's one. The rest, I'm assuming, are elsewhere. I didn't look at every single other video, but I looked at a few, and they were all on their YouTube channel, so I think if you do some digging, you could probably find them there as well. Why would you pay £50 a year for painting tutorials that you can get for not only free from other YouTube channels, but the exact same painting tutorials for free on the Warhammer YouTube channel? That is mental. So painting tutorials pretty much don't add any value to this service, so they're out the door. So next is the battle reports. Once again, these are things that you can get for free on YouTube anyway, and most people watch battle reports because they like the YouTuber, they like the personality. So why would you pay for some people that you don't know to play Warhammer battles and then watch them when you just get the free stuff on YouTube with YouTubers that you know and love? And then of course there's the Lore Master series, which isn't on at the moment but is said to be coming soon in the future, and judging by it, this is just going to be talking about lore of Warhammer with some cool animations and stuff like that probably. But that's also content that YouTubers have on their channels for free. Yeah, it's starting to look like there's not much value here so far. But let's move on. Let's start to talk about those controversial animations. You know, the ones that Games Workshop started pulling from YouTube, the fan creations that they made from the passion for the hobby. And Games Workshop said, hey, get them off YouTube, put them on our streaming service. We want people to pay for them. So this is what most people will be buying Warhammer TV and Warhammer Plus for. So is it worth it for these fan animations? Well, I think no is probably an understatement. Currently, there's Hammer and Bolter, which is 3 episodes of that so far on the streaming service, and Angels of Death, there's 2 episodes of that. And that's it. No Astartes, none of the other big stuff that people are really excited for. That's not on the surface right now. Yes, it will be coming in the future, but I'm reviewing this as it launches. You heard me. There are 5 animations. 5 animations on Warhammer Plus. The main selling point was these animations, and there's 5 of them. I kid you not, I got through all of them in an hour and 40 minutes. They're 20-minute mini episodes, and they're pretty good. Yeah, okay, Angels of Death looks gorgeous, and I mean, some of the facial animations are a little bit weird, and the voice acting leaves something to be desired, but all in all, they're actually good animations. But the problem is, 18 minutes per episode, and there's 5 of them. They are so sparse, it makes me wonder how Games Workshop thought they'd get away with their main content. The main thing selling Warhammer Plus is the streaming service, and the main thing selling the streaming service are the animations, and there's just over an hour and a half of content. Okay, they're releasing more content as it goes, I completely understand that, but this is a launch, a big launch for a massive company's streaming service that they're trying to sell to people. Imagine Disney Plus launched their service with 2 hours of content on it. People would go insane. By the way, Disney Plus is the same price as Warhammer Plus. But you might be wondering, looking through this, Resonant, aren't those 3 other animations in the same category next to those ones? Well, this is going to piss you off. They have tried to pad out their video content by, in the animations category, putting trailers. Not trailers for other animations, by the way. Warhammer trailers that are on YouTube, like the Warhammer 40k trailer, the Age of Sigmar one, the Kill Team one. I'm not making this up. There are more trailers than animations on the streaming service. There's 2 animations, right? Granted, they have multiple episodes each, but on the front page, there are more trailers than actual animations on this streaming service. This is mental. You've got Warhammer already. Why are you trying to put trailers to buy models? We're already buying your models. Why are you putting... I'm losing my mind. What is going on? There are more trailers than animations. We're going to see less and less free Warhammer content on YouTube as this service grows, because no doubt Games Workshop have put a lot of money behind it. Not that you can tell at this point in time, but I think in the future we are going to get a lot of content, and maybe a couple years down the road there will be some cool animations, but at this point in time there's nothing on it. But unfortunately, the more that comes on this streaming service, the less we see on YouTube, the less we see fan animations, the less we see lore videos, and maybe even coming into battle reports and painting tutorials. I mean, that sounds ridiculous at this point in time, that they would stop people doing painting tutorials, but now what we've seen with everything else that Games Workshop have done, taking free content down just to put it on their streaming service, it doesn't seem that far-fetched anymore. I think one good thing that they could possibly do is get Warhammer channels on YouTube and put exclusive content on their service, not taking anything from these people's Warhammer channels, but maybe paying them sort of like a YouTube Originals thing or a Nebula sort of thing, where they pay them to do an exclusive series just on their service. That could be quite cool. Putting the personalities behind it, maybe taking people like Luton and saying, hey, we'll pay you this amount of money to make a lore series that is just for our service. Not taking it away from his channel, not taking that free content down, but saying that there's more stuff here and then they can promote it. That could possibly be a way of actually getting some content on here. But at this point in time, it's a disaster. So the final question is it worth it? Well, if you really need one of the specific miniatures, either the Vindicare or of course the Auric Boss, and you really love White Dwarf magazines and you're prepared to go through every single one of them, and you go to every single Games Workshop event and kind of want to get a free upgrade to VIP, maybe you might actually get some value out of this service. But if you're anything but the most hardcore of hardcore Warhammer fans, if you're anything but the person that lives and breathes every bit of Warhammer content every day, you're probably not going to find much in here, especially the streaming site. At this point, the content is so lacking and they're just way better free alternatives. So I'm really struggling to work out who this is for. Of course, as I mentioned so many times, and I'm sure there'll be many comments down below, it's just the beginning. Give it time. I understand that. And in time, we will get more content, way more content. But why release it at this point with this little content? Because you know people are going to review it. Because this is where the majority of people come onto your platform. That first big day, that first massive launch. And it's kind of just being a soft, wet fart in the wind at this point. And I think judging by the responses, most people are agreeing. But please let me know what you think down below. Have you bought the service Warhammer Plus so far? And if so, is it worth it for you? It might be if you really love all the specific things that they have there, but I think for most people, there's not really enough to get your hands on it at this point in time. But let me know what you think down below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Leave a dislike if you didn't. But until then, I will see you in the next one.